Hi, I'm Lynn.
And I'm Leo. Welcome back to Yoga with Lynn and Leo.
And welcome to today's tutorial. Today's tutorial is going to be on Supta Virasana.
Yeah, and we find that a lot of our students really struggle with this pose, which is why we decided to do a tutorial on it. And we have got a lot of equipment here, as you'll notice. So we have got 6 foam pads, a bolster, and 3 blankets. Now you may not have all of this equipment, but you might be able to substitute other things that you've got around the house for some of this equipment. But for most people, you do need some equipment unless you are pretty flexible.
So we're going to show you the classic pose, but the classic pose which needs support. So it may be that you can go back into Supta Virasana, but actually you'll be better off using support to learn some of the subtleties in the action.
Yeah.
Alright, so just take a few moments to take a look at the video so that you are sitting between your heels in Virasana. Ensure your feet are facing back, and then start the process of going back. So you firstly pause onto the forearms and see that you get the length. So you press into the forearms, you can press into the feet, push through the inner thighs towards the knee side and lengthen through the centre of the body and just release yourself down. Now, if you're able to come into this position, but actually it's really uncomfortable and you've got a tremendous arch in the back and the head is tilted, then you're going to need some support. So you can see here that Leo goes quite a bit down at the top of the body compared with here. So it all needs to be lengthened a little more. So we'll start with the basic support. So Leo's going to come up, and sometimes it's worth just taking a look at maybe not going so high and working with a couple of blankets. So this is quite a nice way of working, just to give you a little bit of support. So if you're one of those people who just needs a little bit of support, then just try with a couple of blankets in this way. So taking this behind you so that you've got a little bit of support, and it may be just perfect for what you need. So remember, each support gives you a different sensation, a different subtlety in the body, so it's worth having a go with all the supports, even if you can do this pose quite well. Extending back. A little bit. Okay, this is quite nice actually, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
So now that's better. So I'm just going to move this blanket so it's there. That's it. So you can relax and release. If you're holding your body in its tightness, then it's very difficult to surrender the body. So it's quite nice to use a little bit of support. So our next option would be going a little bit higher. So those of you who can still sit in Virasana, then you can use a bolster. Now, the difficulty comes is when Virasana is a problem. So when this position is a bit of a problem, then we've got to make sure that we have some support. And if we put support underneath the buttocks, then we've got to put support behind. So it's going to be double the support because you've got to see that you're raising the floor level as you are when you sit in Virasana. So we'll move these out of the way and then just show you. Oops.
I'll move those, shall I?
I've got another one here as well. So we're just pop that. So I'm just going to make a little bit of a platform here. Now, if you don't have bolster, then these are quite useful to use. And you can see I'm staggering them. Now, this is if you sit on one foam pad. and you'll have a blanket at the end of the support, so it'll be like this. So you can have a go with this and see how you get on with this action. So we'll do a demonstration, just show you how to go back onto this. What's really nice is that when you go back, the staggering of the foam pads work really nicely. And then going back. So it just picks up the lower ribs, which is quite nice actually. That's a nice action. Yeah, this is all well and good if you can sit on one foam pad, but it may be that you're sitting on one foam pad and this is still not enough support at the back, and this happens. So we come up again. Now this may seem as if you're going quite high, but it may be that you need to go this high, and we put the bolster on top as well, like this. Just move the whole thing a little bit further forward, and then we come into this position. These blankets need to be folded, I think. Okay, and then extend back. Okay, now this is great, isn't it? So you can see that here Leo is just lifting that upper chest cavity really nicely. You just move the blanket a little bit for her so it's closer towards her shoulders and she can release it. Now, don't be put off with the amount of supports that you're using, because you need to start somewhere with Supta Virasana. It's very strong on the thighs. Now it may be, I'm going to take Leo out of her little blissful state for a moment, is that you're lifting your thighs, and this is so common. Now if that happens, you've still got to start somewhere. Just pop something underneath the knee area like this, so that you've got some base there, so you can feel the difference. This kind of lifts everything up. Now what I will say is that maybe, just maybe, this is not enough support at the back, and therefore you need a few more foam pads. It's really worthwhile investing in the foam pads, investing in the props so that you can do this pose, learn it, and you'll be surprised. Within time, you'll be able to go down a little bit further. But we have to really be very nurturing to our tightness and our stiffness, and see that gradually you surrender. Now if all of this you've tried, even on a slightly more higher support, still keeping the staggered action at the back of the spine, if that's still really challenging for whatever reason, then see if you can work a little bit more in those standing poses and the rest of your practice to encourage a little bit more stability. And when you come out of the action, you have to see that you come out how you went into it. So you press down into your hands and you push up and lift up. And then we straighten the legs out into a Dandasana action. Just move this out of the way. So we come back to our Dandasana action and just stretching those legs out, really extending those legs as much as you can. So to just get the circulation going again in the legs, you've got to push into the heels so strongly to reach and open those legs. And when they've recovered sufficiently, then you can start moving them again.
So, you know, it always does become a relaxing pose, and you might not feel that. If you're watching a tutorial on this, it's probably because this isn't a pose that comes easily to you. But do persevere with your Virasana, and as Lynn says, the standing poses, and eventually you will come back into this pose and be able to relax and get the many benefits from it. And it is one, actually, we should mention that you can do after you've eaten. There are not many poses that are recommended to be done after you've had a meal, but this one does improve the digestion.
It certainly does. And you can see why that beautiful extension and also preparation for pranayama. So make sure you get your props and start practicing.
We hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you've learned a little bit more about Supta Virasana and maybe learned to love it a little more. If you like the video, please do press on the like button, subscribe if you haven't done already, and comment if you've got anything that you'd like to bring to our attention. Thank you for joining us today. Namaste.